Shri Krishna Balaram ki jai, Shri Gonitai ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Shri Gurudev ki jai, Sadhu Sangha ki jai. Swagatam, Suswagatam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Agyantimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshumiritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupam Kadamayam Jagati Shvapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Sa Shri Rupa Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sanjivam Tadvetam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Scha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabando Jagapate Gopesh Kanta Radhakanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Ishvaranute Devi Paramami Adipriye Vanchakalpa Tarubhyasha Kripa Sindhudeva Cha Titam Padanebhyo Vaishnavibhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Srivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So welcome. So today is the disappearance day of Srila Jagadish Pandit and Srila Jiv Goswami. So they're the verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita in regard to Srila Jagadish Pandit. We will start with Jagadish Pandit because he's much more senior than Jiv Goswami. He was even more senior than Mahaprabhu. So it's mentioned in the Chaitanya Charitamrita that he is the savior of the world. Why? Because he distributed the nectar of love of goddess, just like a dense mass of dark clouds in the sky, distributing rainfall. So he's considered a Vishnu Parikar, a Vishnu Parashad. Sangho Gastra Parashadam, when the Lord comes, he doesn't actually take birth. Lord Krishna, does Lord Krishna or Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, do they take birth? What is the right verb for them? Can we say they take birth? They appear. What is the verse in the Gita? Yeah, but more precisely I would say 4-6. Prakritim Svamadishtaya. They are situated in their own Prakriti. Prakritim Svam Adishtaya. They are situated in their Prakriti Svam, their own Prakriti. They don't have to, we have to borrow this body from Durga, from Maya Shakti. They don't have to do that. Prakritim Svam Adishtaya. Sambhav Matnamayaya. So we can say Sambhavami. Sambhavami means to manifest. So they manifest just like the sun manifests. The sun disappears. We cannot say the sun takes birth. So, and similarly for great souls like this, Jagadish Pandit, they manifest. Some of them manifested before Mahaprabhu, during Mahaprabhu's Leela, and after Mahaprabhu. Like Srila Prabhupada manifested after Mahaprabhu. Okay, so Jagadish Pandit he took birth in Guwahati, that region, it's in Bengal, Guwahati, and his father's name was Kamalaksh Bhatta. He himself, Kamalaksh Bhatta, was the son of Shri Bhatta Narayan. They're coming from this region, Guwahati. There's one city, if you want to know, Golgal Bandyagat. It's in Bengal. So the father and mother of Jagadish Pandit were very much devoted to Vishnu Bhakta. And of course, even devotees have to leave the body. We have seen Rikeshwari Prabhu and others. It's bound to happen. We are just in standby. We are seated on the same bench, and the bench At the end of the bench, every minute one of us is going. And as that next person goes, we are getting closer to death. But of course, do we die? No, we change bodies, they enter a praptir. The soul is eternal, so we should not worry, but at the same time, we have to remember that yam yam api svaram bhavam tyajatante karivaram. We better prepare because the thoughts that we entertain at death will determine our next destination. So this Prabhu left, his parents left, they passed away. And he moved with his wife, he was a Grihastha, his wife was Dukini Devi. They moved on the banks of the Ganga, and he had a younger brother, Mahesh. Sometimes they call him Mahesh or Iranya. So the younger brother came with him also. And they settled on the banks of the Ganga. And there they built a house very close to Jagannath Mishra. Who is Jagannath Mishra?
Father of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yes, very good. So later, first let's start with the Baal Gopal Lila of Nara, of Mahaprabhu. Because obviously Jagadish Pandit was a bit elder. He was elder than Mahaprabhu. He came before. He was the age of the parents of Mahaprabhu. So one day, on the Kedashi day actually, Gaur Hari, he was very young. What was the name of Mahaprabhu when he was young? Nimai. Vishwambara. Vishwambara was very often times they used to call him Vishwambara. So the young Vishwambara, he wanted to eat rice on the Kedashi. It's a bit peculiar, but of course he's a supreme personality. Got it? So he wanted to eat rice from their house, from the house of Jagadish Pandit and his brother Hiranya or Mahesh. So the young Nimai, he told his parents, he was a bit sick also, so he kind of threatened his parents. He told them, if you don't want me to die, then immediately go to the house of Jagadish Pandit, of these two Brahmins. They were Brahmins actually. And I'm very pleased with them. Please, they are fasting. We should be fasting for Ekadashi. Ideally, we should be doing Nirjala, according to Hari Bhakti Vilas. So they were doing Nirjala, but Vishwambara, of course, he knew that they had prepared a feast for the Lord, for Lord Vishnu on the altar. So he told his parents, please try to obtain me some of this Vishnu Prasad. Is Mahaprabhu bound to follow Ekadashi? That's the question. Even Mahaprabhu, it's very interesting in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, sometimes he was offered Mahaprasad, Lord Jagannath Mahaprasad on Ekadashi. So what to do? Because it's Mahaprasad of Lord Jagannath, you cannot ignore it. So what did Mahaprabhu do? And he was surrounded by his devotees, and some pandas would come from the temple and offer some Jagannath Mahaprasad. Should we take the Mahaprasad? It's Jagannath of Mahaprasad. Mahaprasad of Jagannath, sorry.
They started Kirtan till the next day.
Yeah, basically Mahaprabhu told them, you please circumambulate the Mahaprasad and you take it tomorrow. So Mahaprabhu would not take, because, why? Because he's playing the role of Bhakta Roop. He's in the mood of a Bhakta Roop. But here, it's a different lila. Mahaprabhu had different types of lila. When he was younger, he told, especially in this particular instance, he told his parents, if you get some Vishnu Prasad from them, Jagadish Pandit and his brother, Hiranya, definitely I will get killed. So, they had to comply. Mahaprabhu sometimes would force his parents to do things. So they had to comply, and one way or the other, they got prasad from those two brothers, and he got killed. Another day, child Gorahari was crying incessantly, and his parents told him, please stop crying, whatever you want we'll give you, stop crying. Same story, he told them, it's a Kadashi again. He had Jagadisha and Hiranya, they had lots of leelas of the Kadashi with the young Vishwamba. And he told the same story, he told his parents, they have made many preparations of Vishnu Prasad. I should eat them. So when she heard that, Sachimata, she put her hands to her head, and she began to lament because, it's not proper to disrupt, a Brahmin in his sadhana. If you cannot fetch prasad to someone else from someone else's house, especially a Brahmin's house, they were very respectable Brahmins. So, but still, because they are clustered houses, they live very close to each other. So the neighbors, they found out, and they wondered, how come this young boy, he knows this today is a Kadashi? So they were bewildered. How can he know? And he was crying. Mahaprabhu, when he would cry, it's non-stop and loud, wailing, So finally, he was so loud in his wailing and crying, the ladies told him, okay, we'll do anything you want, please stop crying. And one way or the other, it's a lila, because these two, we're going to see who are these two persons, you're going to be amazed. One way or the other, they popped out, they popped in the courtyard of Mahaprabhu, and they were very pleased. They were well aware, because they are very close to the father of Mahaprabhu, Jagannath Mishra. So of course they know this boy is the supreme personality of Godhead. Ajanu lambito bujo kanakava dato sankirtane kapitaro kamalaya taksho vishvambara dijabaro yugadama palo vande jagatpriyakaro Karunavataro, and this is a verse from Chaitanya Bhagavat. Those two great personalities, Gonitai, Ajanulambito Bujo, their hands extend down to their cows. Not even the knees, actually, below, like the cows. Ajanu is interesting because Ajanu means genou in French. You can see it very close. Ajanu means knee, and in French we say genou. Ajanu, very close. Genou and ajanu. This is Bengali is also very coming from Sanskrit. Ajanu lambito pujo karana patavos. He has lotus eyes, practically up to the ears. Just imagine the eyes. To the ears practically. The end of the eyes is close to the ears. And they are the fathers of mankind. They are the propagators of the Harinam, Sankirtan Harinam. So we know there's no one more merciful than Gauritai. So these two brothers, they knew who is this boy. They were totally aware. So they were very happy to offered Vishnu Prasad. And when they came with the prasad, they told the boy, Bap. Bap, in Bengali, Bap means Lal, little boy. Bap, Lal. Bap, Vishvamba, we have brought everything that you requested. Please eat. It's great happiness. And don't cry anymore. So we know, we sing every day. Shatu Vida Shri Bhagavad Prasado Swadana Triptan Hari Bhakta Sangam Krideva Triptin Bhajato Swadeva Vande Guru Shri Sharana. So it's a great, taking prasad is a great activity. So apart from that room upstairs, his room, he used to behold the devotees taking prasad on the lawn and he was shedding tears. So much it is to see someone taking Vishnu prasad. It's a source of great bliss. So then Mahaprabhu would take prasad and with all his friends. We have to understand these little boys, the mates of Mahaprabhu, they were also great souls. There were some of them like Gopas coming from Golok. So they partook of the feast, and it's mentioned here that the bodily luster of Mahaprabhu is like a fresh rain cloud with a peacock feather. Of course, sometimes he would put a peacock feather also. The splendor of his beauty would reflect. He was so beautiful, Mahaprabhu, that his beauty would reflect on others' faces, just like a crystal. And you see your face, and the face is reflecting on others' faces. This is the beauty. Actually, the most formidable weapon of Mahaprabhu is his beauty. He's got so many Shakti.
What? Is what beauty?
Beauty. Beauty.
Like Krishna.
Yeah. That is his beauty. People would faint. I just imagine, you see someone, you faint. I just laugh because it's so beautiful. This is the beauty of Mahaprabhu. People, not only women, but men alike would faint. Yeah. So, actually, now let's discuss about further pastimes. When Mahaprabhu grew older, he ordered those two brothers, you preach Harinam at Nilachal. So Mahaprabhu ordered those two brothers to move to Nilachal, to Puri. And then, of course, those two brothers, they took shelter of Lord Jagannath. And Jagadish Pandit, at this time, he prayed at the feet of Lord Jagannath. And he was rewarded with a beautiful deity of Lord Jagannath, lotus-eyed Lord. And they moved to Yashore. Yashore is in Orissa, near Chakdaha, under Ganga. And how did he carry his deity? He suspended his deity from a staff. You know, he had a stick, and at the end of the stick there was the deity hanging like this. From a staff, you know. And that staff is still, if you go to that temple, it's in Yashore, you can still see the staff where the deity of Jagadish Pandit and his wife, Dukini Devi. Just imagine the origin of this deity. You can still today see the staff. So, during the Mahaprabhu Lila, Gaunita used to go to that city, Yashore, because it's a city where they have lots of festivals of Sankirtan. So by then, Jagadish Pandit had a son, his name was Rambhadra Goswami, and there was a temple, you can still go to the temple of Jagannath Dev, Radha Pallab Ji,
and Shri Gopal. Beautiful name here, Gopal. So one time Gauritai came to that Yashore, to the house of Jagadish Pandit and to the temple there. And he was on his way to Nilachal. But the lady, Dukini Devi, she could foresee Mahaprabhu is going to leave any time. He's going to proceed further to Puri. And Mahaprabhu is Antaryami, is Savagya. Of course, he knew the mind of this. She's a great, great devotee, the wife of Jagadish Pandit, Dukini Devi. He could understand her bhav, her mood, and he told her, he gave her a deity actually. Mahaprabhu gave her a deity. And he told her, I will eternally remain in your home in the form of this deity. So from that day, they worship Gopal. Gopal was given by Mahaprabhu to that lady, Dukini Devi. And who are those two great souls? Jagadish and Haranya. There's a devotee you may know, Kavi Karnapur. He has written a book, Go Ganodesh Dipika. Go Ganodesh Dipika explains all the personalities that were in Krishna Lila, who are there in Gauri. So Kavi Karnapur was a very great Kavi, poet. He is the third son of Shivananda Sen. So in that book, it is revealed who is Jagadish Pandit and his brother, who are there. Yeah, let me find that. So there's two opinions. Some say those two brothers were the wives of the Brahmins. You know, remember the Vedic Brahmins? They refused to give bhog to the boys. When the boys, the Gopas, went fetching for the prasad, the bhog. Actually, it was not offered, so it's bhog. The Brahmin men, they refused categorically. They ignored the boys. They were engaged into Karmakandik yagyas. When they turned to the wives, remember, did the wives eagerly provided with prasad. So some Garudanudesh Deepika explained that those two brothers were some of the wives. So very interesting to know. You may have a male body. Is it important? You are a male, you become a female. You are a male, you are a woman in Krishna Lila. You become a man in Gaurila. Or vice versa. So important. Just like you change your dress, today you have a brown color coat, tomorrow you have a red color coat, today you drive a Volkswagen, tomorrow you drive a BMW. Does it matter? The dress is totally unimportant. They were wives, they became men in Gaurila. This is one opinion. Another opinion, Jagadish Pandit was Chandrahas. Chandrahas was a dancer in Krishna Lila. Dancer. Yeah. So this is what it is. Jagadish Pandit and Hiranya Prabhu Ki.
How is it that they managed to cook so much? It was a special event or what?
They used to cook a lot for their deities on Ekadashi.
Why? Because generally Kadashi, nobody cooks so much.
Yeah, it's a very good question. You should send them an email or something. No problem. So Jagadish Pandit was also present in the Chiradoi Gandha Mahotsav in Panihati, and you know the Chiradahi festival. He was there, Jagadish Pandit. Yes, Prabhu?
Just to add to the question Giri Govardhan Prabhu asked,
Yes.
Our mood is when we cook a big feast, that mood, we have it tinged with a bit of ourselves also, that Krishna gets, but I also get some. But I think the advanced devotees show that for Krishna's pleasure we should do the best we can,
Exactly.
even on Ekadashi.
Because we have to remember, he made a very good point, Harivasal. Ekadashi is called Harivasal. Harivasal means for the pleasure of Hari. This is Vishnu Day. Even above and foremost, the fact that we fast, it's Harivasal, means for the pleasure, it is the day of Vishnu. Harivasal. So especially that day we should bend ourselves backwards to please Vishnu. So, yes, you can.
Prabhupada also says, I don't know if it is really authentic or what, fasting means feasting for Ekadashi. Is it true or what?
Well, Maghu Maharaj himself told me in 87, Nirjal. I've been doing Nirjal since 87, and he told me this is the norm. And he quoted profusely from Mary Bhaktivilas. Srila Prabhupada gave concessions because we are Videshis. But if you go to Gaudiya Math, the day prior to Ekadashi, it's one meal a day. Ekadashi, first of all, one meal a day the day prior. Ekadashi Nirjal. That night you don't sleep, 64 hours. Next day, one meal. I used to stay sometimes in Gaudiya Math. It's not like us. And they chant 64 rounds a day. And they don't sleep that night at all. Even in Mayapur, we used to not sleep at night. Hundreds of devotees would not sleep that night of Ekadashi. So Prabhupada, he kind of facilitated us, but we shouldn't be thinking this is the norm. The norm is in Hari Bhaktivilas. Ekadashi means Nirjal. Prabhupada, of course, he had to, adapt to the Videshis in the West. So Srila Jiva Goswami, now that's the biggie. So, and Jiva Goswami is, without a doubt, Mahaprabhu, even Prabhupada said, is the greatest philosopher in the history of mankind. Past, present, future. So once Jiva Goswami speaks, there's no need to. Just to tell you his caliber, he used to edit the books of the Goswamis. Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami. So he has written as many as all the Puranas combined. He has written 4 lakhs of shlokas. 400,000 shlokas. As many as all the Puranas combined. And his Sat-Sandarbha is the absolute treatise establishing the supreme authority of Srimad Bhagavatam. And the Sandarbha is the last word in Vedic authority. Even Mayavadis in those days, when they read Sat-Sandarbha, actually it restored the validity of Bhagavatam, even in the eyes of the Mayavadis. They understood this is the book. Of course, some dare to give a Mayavadi interpretation. That's also there. But because of Jiva Goswami, through his Sandarbhas, it has greatly enhanced the reputation of Srimad Bhagavatam. And this is the last word. If you read the Sandarbhas, there's no question. He's grinding everything. He's taking all the Mayavad philosophy and he's grinding it into powder. There's no question of going behind Jiva Goswami. There's absolutely no question. He's the last word. So, we know is the nephew of Rupen Sanatan. And of course, his father was named Anupam, Ballabh. There were three brothers, and they were in those days employed in the service of Badshah Hussain Shah. He was quite a tyrant. We know the story. They had, because of social pressure, they were so intelligent that the advisors of Hussain Shah told him, you better hire those persons. They are extremely intelligent. They were speaking Persian, Arabic, Sanskrit, Bengali, of course. See, it's very interesting. The Mughal emperors would never hire Muslim. What? Why the Mughals would never hire Muslim? They would never hire Muslims in the courts. They would hire Muslims for, like, distant staff would be Muslim, but the close-knit community around the king or around the Shah, they were Hindus. Why?
It's the same thing today, right? Google, they all hire like Indian bodies because they know that they're intellects, you know.
Yeah, and also the values.
Can you repeat?
He said, well, you can say, Kubo.
I don't have them.
Non, non, mais toi qui as le micro.
So you say that because of?
As you said, like the Muslims were hiring, the kings were hiring Indians, I mean like Hindus, because the reason they're intellects, as well as you made the point that they have ethics,
They have values, they have ethics. They would not stab. Have you seen a Hindu stabbing a Muslim? But you see many Muslims stabbing Muslims. See, as simple as that. Muslims don't mind stabbing other Muslims. Hindu would not do that. They have ethics, they have values. And actually they were Vaishnava. Most of the court members of Hussain Shah were Vaishnavas of the highest caliber. But they were in disguise. Because Hussain Shah, he thought that if I can bring to within my vicinity, within my close touch, the intelligentsia of Ramakeli. In those days, the capital of Bengal was Ramakeli. Calcutta is a very recent city. It's 300 years, max. Calcutta came from the descendants of Batu Thakur. They are the ones who kind of create Calcutta. It's 300 years max. It's not an old city. Ramakeli was the capital of Bengal. So Hussain Shah figured out, if I can bring within my fold the Hindu intelligentsia, I'm going to control better. And of course, there were threat also towards the Hindu communities. You do what I want, and I will pay you lavishly, otherwise there will be persecutions. Very simple. You have to comply to the king, it's Hussain Shah. So one way or the other, they got hired by two very high rankings posts, prime minister, finance minister. They were extremely rich, extremely rich. It's mentioned Rupa Goswami, when he retired, he had 4 boats of gold coins. Just to tell you, in contrast, Srila Prabhupada explained when he was a young boy, 10 years, 1905, his mother would buy sabji for 1 week for the whole family with 1 rupee. In 1905. Just imagine 1 gold coin in the 16th century. He had 4 boats. So it's not even billionaire, it's multi-billionaire. Rupen Sanatan. Very opulent. So the boy Jiva Goswami was obviously taken care of lavishly. His upbringing, totally fine. And this boy was extremely radiant, effulgent, golden complexion, lotus eyes. It's called Mahapurush. There's 32 bodily marks of a Mahapurush, 32. Very thin waist, hands down to the calves, lotus eyes, 3 lines, broad shoulders. Mahaprabhu had this, of course, but also Jiva also. Mahapurush. So we know the story when Mahaprabhu came to Ramakeli, the 2 brothers, in those days they were called Dabir Kas and Sakar Malik. They had Muslim names. Even the father of Rupa and Sanatan, he was feeling ashamed, Because can you imagine if you have 2 boys who succeed in life, the parents are very happy. But on the contrary, the father was ashamed. My 2 brilliant sons, 3 actually, but mostly those 2 were engaged. They are working for the Muslims, such a shame. It was like they were ostracized. Can you imagine? Ostracized means banned, practically from the... It was such a rigid time. Even the Hindus were so rigid. If you trespass on the shadow of a Muslim, just the shadow, you have to take bath. And conversely, if a Muslim crosses the path of a Hindu, it's pap. Very rigid.
It's true, such a life. You would convert a lot of Hindus
Yeah.
with this belief of dropping a few
Exactly. It's a very...
of water like Subudhi oil.
Exactly. See, we have to understand, it's a very good point, Prabhu, thank you. All the Muslims today in India are former Hindus. Because, see, the Muslims are very intelligent. They will say, look, you convert to Muslim, we'll give you some perks. Perks means benefits, fringe benefits. You will get land to the same cost as we do. And tax, you will be given concessions on your tax payment. So if you talk to a simple-minded Hindu, not so sharp, not so Vaishnava, I would say, you say, look, well, what's the difference? I keep on worshipping, I practice at home Hinduism, and outside I'm a Muslim. So they say, okay, yeah, no problem, because they would see the benefits. So with time, their descendants became Muslim, but actually they were whole Hindus, just to start with. So when that day, Dabir Kas and Sakar Malik, they incognito, they were dressed as normal persons, they went to Ramakeli to meet with the Lord, incognito. And the boy, he was very young, 4. He didn't go, but he tagged along behind. He tagged along and he could see from a distance. That is so Mahaprabhu. That really impacted him very deeply. He was only 4. And at another time, Mahaprabhu met the boy. And he put his foot on his head. He blessed Jiva Goswami. And he announced this person will be the future sovereign preceptor of the whole Gaudiya Vaishnava Sampradaya. After Rupa and Sanatan, when they departed, Jiva became the senior-most Vaishnava in India, of course, with Janavama, the consort of Nityananda Prabhu. He lived 85 years, Jiva Goswami. He was the only child, so can you imagine how he was treasured? He's such a fascinating child. Of course, he mastered everything in no time. Rhetorics, poetry, vyakaran. There is Manjari in the spiritual world. It's Vilas Manjari. And of course, we know the story, the father renounced their family life, to be with Mahaprabhu. So the mother of G. Goswami, she was always shedding tears. They were living in Fatehabad. We can still visit that place. Fatehabad, it's a city in Bengal. And she would always keep the boy on her lap, shedding tears. Why? Because her husband, Anupam Balab, had left with his two brothers, Rupa and Sanat, and they were gone. And the boy was young, So she was alone, of course, very well endowed, very wealthy. But still, shedding tears day and night. And the boy grew like the waxing moon. She was shedding so much tears that the boy's face was always wet with tears. So there was a lot of sadness in the house, even though they were lavishly opulent. But all the men had left basically. Now the final blow of time. This is the final blow. Anupam left the body. Anupam is Ballabh. He was, let me try to remember, correct me if I'm wrong, on the way to Rup and Anupam were going towards Vrindavan or back, I forgot. Either going to or from Vrindavan, he left the body along the Ganga. So when the boy, Jiva Goswami, found out my father's demise, he was broken, totally grief-stricken. So already the boy was detached. What to speak now? He was totally, he would faint. I mean, the boy as such is such a powerful entity. Oftentimes he would faint, remembering Mahaprabhu. He had seen Mahaprabhu when he was young. And remembering his two uncles, he would faint, lose consciousness. This is when we sing Niyanilo Pramadana, they experience such a feat of separation from the Lord and from great devotees like their uncles. They cannot function. They cannot function. And of course he used to worship deities Ramakrishna, Shri Ramakrishna. And he would decorate them, offer bowl, arati, full attention. He was, from his early childhood, he was totally engrossed in deity worship. Shri Ramakrishna. So of course the teachers, they couldn't understand. He's such a brilliant personality. He would be a very high soul, saintly person. And once he had a dream of his deities, Shri Ramakrishna. And they became Nitagore. So just to alleviate his pangs of separation. It's mentioned in Bhakti Ratnakar also. You can find a lot of things on Jiva Goswami in Bhakti Ratnakar. So they gave him the dust of their lotus feet and then they disappeared. So he was somewhat consoled a little bit. And then he always was thinking, when will I be able to, on that kupa, you know the verse, when will I be able to crawl outside this dark well of family life? Jiva Goswami never married, never. And when will I be able to devote my life to Vishnu, to Krishna, to Mahaprabhu? So contrary to Raghunath Das Goswami, I don't know if you remember, it's quite similar. He had to sneak out. But Jiva Goswami was different in the sense that The boy was so much despaired that the family members told him, you go and take darshan. Go to Navadvip, take darshan. You're going to see. At least the family is willing, to. Everyone is gone anyway. Rup, Sanatan is gone, Anupam is gone. There's no male in this house. So they complied, they agreed, yes. You please restore you. They could see the boy is going to die. He's going to die out of separation. So separation goes with sambhog. Sambhog vipralamba. Sambhog vipralamba. You need sambhog once in a while. You need reunion. If you're always in the mood of separation, you're going to die, basically. So that's why they figured out this boy's going to die. So they told him, it's mentioned in Bhakti Ratnakar, you go take darshan of whoever is left amongst the Sanghu Pangastra Parasadam, amongst the associates of Mahaprabhu, you go to Navadvip. Perhaps there's a few left. This way, he will be spared. Otherwise, he would have died. He would have died. So he went to Navadvip, and then this is the great meeting. Whom did he meet? Nityananda Prabhu. This is amazing. But well explained, you can read out Bhakti Ratnakar. So he walked all the way from Svetayadad to Navadvip. And of course, Nityananda is omniscient. He was not there. He was in Kardaha. Nityananda would spend a lot of time in Kardaha, and he could understand Jiva Goswami is coming. So he went to Navadvip, and where did he stay, Nityananda Prabhu? In the house of Srivas Thakur and Malini. And Malini is the wife of Srivas Thakur. Not to be shared, but even this is totally amazing. That's why Nityananda Prabhu is such an avadut. We cannot pass judgment or even try to understand. He would take the milk of Malini even when as an adult. So you cannot relate to Nityananda Prabhu as an adult. So they cannot. It's totally beyond us. They were very close, Srivas and Nityananda Prabhu. So Nityananda Prabhu proceeded towards Navadvip, and they met. So it's beautiful, you can hear. Jiv arrived at Navadvip. Seeing the beauty of that place, he was charmed. Falling down on the ground, he offered his dandavat to Mother Ganga. Inquiring from the villagers the directions to Mayapur, he learned that Nityananda Prabhu was residing at Srivas Pandit's house. At last, arriving there, he fell down at the door to offer his dandavat. Nityananda Prabhu came out with Srivas Pandit and picked him up and embraced him. Are you the nephew of Sri Rupa and Sanatan? As an answer, Jiv again fell down to the ground at the lotus feet of Nitai Prabhu. This time, Nityananda Prabhu brought him in the house and began to inquire after the welfare of his family at Fatehabad. Then Jiva Goswami introduced to the devotees present in Navadvip. He offered his salutations at their lotus feet. Everyone was very happy to meet the nephew of Sri Rupa and Sanatan. That day, Shri Jiva received the remnants of Nityananda Prabhu, the prasad. Just imagine if you ate the prasad of Nityananda. What do we eat every day? The next day, it's beautiful, you're going to see. The two of them, Nitai and Jiva Goswami, went to Sachimata's house. Seeing the birthplace of Sri Guru Sundar, which was filled with such splendor, the place is splendid. Shri Jiva Goswami was greatly pacified and fell down on the ground to roll in the dust. In the large courtyard, the devotees were singing songs praising the glories of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Seeing Nityananda Prabhu, everyone stood up and fell down, offering their dandavat at his lotus feet. Then Shri Jeev saw Sachimata sitting on the veranda. So listen carefully, Mrs. Bhakti Ratnaka. You see the beauty of the description of Sachimata. Dressed in white with silk chadar around her shoulders, she looked radiant. The white of her hair blending with her white sari. Though her body trembled with old age, she was very thin. Still the courtyard was illuminated by her divine effulgence. She would spread the light to hold the courtyard. And she's the mother of the universe. Ever forgetting herself in remembrance of Sri Gaur Sundar, she was sitting with her eyes closed, becoming aware that Nityananda Prabhu had arrived. She covered her head with her sari and called her servant, Ishan, Ishan Thakur. Shripad has arrived. Please wash his feet. They used to call Nityananda Prabhu Shripad. Shripad. After this was done, Nityananda offered namaskar to the mother of the Supreme Lord and took his seat. He then introduced Shri Jeev to her. Sachimata placed her hand on his head to bless him. Jiva floated in an ocean of happiness. Sachimata then requested the two of them to honor the Lord's prasad. Take prasad here at your mother's house today, my child. I offered them preparations in secret to Sri Gaur Chandra. I have to stop anyway. It's 9. I will leave it here. You can read further. So this is just a little glimpse of the life of Jiva Goswami. Amazing personality is the last word, as I said in Shastra. Srila Jiva Goswami ki, Srila Jagadish Pandit ki. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Is this Ishan?
Ishan Thakur, it's interesting personality.
Who wrote his book about the glories of Advaita Prabhu and our serving?
Yeah.
It was the same one?
Yeah, but Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is saying that book is not verified. That book is not verified. Madhavananda Prabhu told me that.
His book is not verified. But he was a servant of Advaita.
Yeah, he was actually a disciple of Advaita Acharya, and he was serving Sachimata at 75. And very amazing, she told him to marry, and he was 70, 75.
Yeah.
And I've got a book, but I used to hang out with Madhavananda Prabhu, who told me Bhaktisiddhanta said it's not the fine book.
I got children.
And yeah, 75, he got children with
C'est the denunciation time.
You see, it's not like today, right? Like even this in India, it was happening before.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, they're not lusty. You know, it's they protect mothers. You know, they protect women.
Exactly. That's why they.
Lineage.
Yeah.
Listen.
I think they're there to observe rather than visit.
Yeah, exactly.
And you said in a class one time, you know, the Nityananda Prabhu had 2 disciples or 1 disciple who rejected. They said, "Oh, I will only take Siksha," like ritual system basically. Nityananda Prabhu or someone had a disciple.
Yeah, actually the son of Virabhadra, one disciple, his name is Jai Gopal,